And welcome back. Today, Shanghai is hosting an epic rematch as DAMWON and G2 Esports fight for a spot in the final. Next week, the winner will play in the Pudong Stadium stage for the 2020 Worlds Final. This is going to be the first ever event at this mighty arena, and you're getting an inside look thanks to the Oppo cam. I've heard more than 6,000 people going to be responsibly socially distanced and filling up that arena as much as humanly possible. What an exciting thing to be able to have access to during kind of these difficult times to play again in front of a live stadium. But if either of these teams are thinking about that right now, they are getting ahead of themselves, because right now it's DAMWON Gaming up 1 game, and G2 desperately looking to play catch-up here. And before we get any further in draft, actually, we'll save it for game. We got to talk about this draft. G2, they're on the back foot. They've got to adapt coming into this game, and we're going to have to see what changes.
I'm kind of in alignment with Vedius, and we're going to see if G2 have the same mentality, although they are banning Lucian from the red side, that G2 will probably feel that that was an execution error, a hand error. They were not playing up to par that they needed to try to contest DAMWON. DAMWON outthought them and frankly outplayed them on an individual mechanical level. That said, DAMWON are now on blue side. The analyst has said it. If you didn't listen, I'm going to say it right here. They're undefeated on blue side. They have not lost a game on blue side in like 24 straight games or something ridiculous like that. Blue side has been favored this entire tournament because they're such high priority champions, and one of them has slipped through, and it's Graves. So we're going to see if Canyon will secure his Graves, or if we're going to continue to see a change up here and give more agency to ShowMaker.
What's also insane is they haven't lost a game in a best of 5 yet this season. They 3-0'd DRX twice, and now they're playing G2, so insane dominance coming in from DAMWON so far in the tournament. But interestingly, the Jhin will be banned away, knowing that if they first pick a priority jungler, that one would go into the hands of Perkz. Both Perkz and Ghost share that as their most played marksmen so far this tournament. Now, Graves will be locked in. Both AP junglers banned on the opposite side, so we're going to have to see what Jankos wants to bring to the table. Will we see the Hecarim? Instead, the Kindred feels like the more premier, more standard option, and it will be locked in.
Now, we haven't seen a lot of European Kindreds. I know that Selfmade brought it out in Fnatic's Best of 5 against Top, but this hasn't been a champion that's really shown over in the LEC until making its way towards Worlds. So it's definitely kind of outside of the comfort pick. And that's not to say that Jankos can't play it. Frankly, at this stage, even if you see a champion for the very first time, I'm going to assume that all of these superstar players can play it, but it is definitely outside of the wheelhouse, and we're going to see how G2 adjusts to this style of champion, because she completely changes your early game.
Absolutely does. Priority pick is also going to be the Twist of Fate, one of 2 champions that we kind of wanted to see Caps on, a champion that he has performed on, that he has been able to snowball advantages outside of his lane with. Of course, last game was a struggle. ShowMaker was the one who got his hands on the Twisted Fate, and we'll see what his option is this time around. He's been a bit more about the utility so far in this tournament, less about the individual carry performances, but maybe he would like to try his hands on the Sylas. Not bad ults to choose from so far, and he is going to grab it. So now the Sylas, most likely set to be in the mid lane for Nuguri, for ShowMaker rather, could still be flexed to Nuguri, but the Ashe as well, and Camille will be the final pick for Jankos here in the phase.
ShowMaker is looking for his Bane moment. He wants to pick up Caps, and he wants to break his back over his knee. If he can win on the opposite side of the matchup again, you don't need the emotes again to make a point there. Like, message received.
I think victory is probably the best message that you can send, but yeah, the emotes don't hurt, certainly. Certainly could bruise some egos on the way. Now, Renekton will be banned away, trying to take away some of the more comfortable matchup options for Nuguri on the top side. Wunder on this Camille. Something that's going to be interesting to keep track of. Wunder's had a very diverse champion pool so far this tournament. Has not played the Camille, or had played the Camille twice before the series. This will now be his 3rd game. See what he wants to do with it. What the final ban will be as the Caitlyn is taken away from Perkz. Again, G2 opting for a strategy where they save bot lane pick till much later in the draft. That said, Mikyx can still get last pick, counter pick for support, which, as we saw in the previous game, can be very crucial.
Yeah, and some of the AD carries that are left available for Perkz are, again, something like that Ezreal or even the Kalista. However, with an Ashe being there, you're not going to have any sort of lane priority or pushing priority here. You see the Pantheon ban come through for G2. You obviously don't want to give away Pantheon Ashe to Ghost and BeryL. That would make a bad situation worse for G2 fans, as that combination is so incredibly potent and powerful. So I'm curious what DAMWON will go with for their final ban. It is going to be the Tahm Kench, so taking away some of that security and safety and giving a lot more kill pressure over to Ghost and BeryL, as at least the Leona is denied.
Interesting. Now, okay, so they're going to opt to blind pick the Leona into bot lane, feeling like it's probably one of the best remaining options. Have to see what the response is going to be here for DWG Gaming, but saving counter pick there for Perkz in the bottom lane. Now, there's not too many great AD options left. Ezreal is something that we could expect to see. Misfortune. I mean, I think really when you think about it, people like to talk about individual comfort for players, but for me, it's just about who gets the prio. And as long as you can push, that feels like it's all that matters here. And Jankos will certainly thank you if you can. But the Sett now will be locked in. This is still technically a flex at this point in the game. I expect it to be going into the hands of BeryL in the bottom lane. Sett, a very obviously powerful duelist and very obnoxious support to deal with.
Yep, time ticking to see kind of what will be the last thing to round out DAMWON's composition. They are kind of missing some long-range engage tools. Obviously, you have the Ashe arrow as well as ShowMaker on the Sylas there and using things like the Leona or Camille ultimate even to that. But there we go. This is what I wanted to see. A very hard farming, hard pushing duelist in Fiora. So super volatile top lane matchup.
Yeah, this one is going to be very, very intense. On the top side of the map, last game, Wunder Renekton versus GP can be a little bit slower, not quite as flashy, but this one is going to be quite explosive, very much. A lot of skill in this matchup as to how you use that riposte, how you use that hookshot wall die. But looking across both compositions, a very different game for both sides. A lot of brawling, a lot of fighting tools on the side of DAMWON Gaming, a lot of range on the side of G2 Esports. That Ezreal, maybe not going to be able to push as well early on, but certainly will be tough to deal with as we move later and later into the game.
There are more scaling options this time around for G2 in this comp, but I still feel like it is more about that mid-game, the first, the second item, maybe even item 3 if they are ahead of the clock. There's not a ton of threat onto Ezreal, and when we talk about compositions and scaling, it's usually, you know, how much threat can you provide to a backline, and again, because of DAMWON kind of missing some hard pieces of CC or setup, unless it's coming from Sylas or Ashe, which Ezreal theoretically should be able to get around unless he gets outplayed. He could put out the ridiculous damage numbers that we saw Perkz go earlier, but I feel like DAMWON's composition, in my opinion, is very well-rounded. It has some good places to play around in the early game, as well as some great hyper-scaling side lane team fight. I think it's got it almost all.
Pretty much. Keeping our eyes, of course, on this level 1 for now. Maybe anticipating Wunder to step forward, but G2 playing the back foot on this one, do not want to risk anything, so they're going to go for the standard 5-point here. As much vision as possible with as little risk as possible.
Big Fiora player, Jankos?
No. Although I have heard Cadril talk many times about he's the greatest Chinese Super Server Fiora player of all time, usually before he goes 0-6. Nuguri, on the other hand, might be one of the greatest Super Server Fiora players. Would not surprise me. The man is an absolute menace. And this is the thing that I really like FLICKR, is that Nuguri is the guy who, I think when you look at DAMWON's evolution as a team, he is like the clearest indicator of that evolution, because he was Cole Klepto every game, no matter what, forever last season. And now he's willing to step back. He's willing to play.
I don't know if the Fiora pick is where you want to make that message, Jankos.
No, for sure. No, but that's my point, is that while he can take a step back, while he can play more for the team and less for himself, he's also been very explicit about saying, hey, look, I still have in my heart a place for those aggressive playmakers, for these big plays, for these big carry performances. And I'm glad that we're going to get to see both sides of Nuguri in this series, because on this Fiora, you kind of have to play for yourself. This is about the 1v1.
Both of them obviously taking grasp and just trying to trade the procs back and forth. I do want to talk about Kindred, though. Jankos showed that his mark was Sylas. Obviously, you have setup and CC in the form of the gold card from Caps. It usually has been about Caps, so we may even see a very early gank from Jankos to try to make good on that mark and set up with that gold card. So it is a lot of back and forth, as you can see, very small trades and kind of repeated small trades from the Camille and the Fiora.
It looks like 3 camps on the bottom side for Kindred, 2 camps on the bottom side for Graves as he moves to top side.
Reminder that Kindred's first mark will spawn on one of the Scuttle Crabs, so having priority in these lanes is actually really important. It is RNG, so we don't know if it's going to be top Scuttle or bot Scuttle. Frankly, though, while Jankos does have priority in mid lane, he doesn't have priority anywhere else, so it might be difficult to acquire one of these crabs, although he is set up for top crab.
Is and has the vision to back him up as well. BeryL getting aggressive on the bottom side. One of the struggles, of course, playing in Sett is that he has so much pseudo-tankiness. As a Juggernaut, he just gets so many stats for free. ShowMaker, though, getting very aggressive on the Caps, taking a lot of minion aggro back, but Caps extending the trade there to try to get the better of it. ShowMaker, though, not afraid to play aggressive, just trade a little bit of health here.
Yeah, and that health advantage will give Caps a lot of control over this lane. Jankos is covering around Caps, trying to protect him as he now sees Canyon on the other side of this wall with a ward. And again, is playing for that crab, and the mark is going to be bot side. So Jankos handshakes with Canyon. Canyon will get top side crab with priority from Nuguri, even though Caps has got ShowMaker underneath his tower. And Jankos will take bot crab. That was cute.
Yeah, good sidestep on the chains there. Obviously, would have been much more difficult. keep our eyes on this mid lane matchup as we go further. For now, kind of going as expected. TF getting the better in a lot of these trades, maximizing the extra mana from the Corrupting Potion as much as he can. And Jankos, while he will be able to grab this one, they know exactly where he is, and BeryL's going to outmaneuver around the play, force the early flash. No option there for Caps. If he is able to flash in, Caps is going to get locked up, so just has to go for the early one. And now Jankos trying to trade back onto BeryL. Definitely favored in this one. Big haymaker now coming in as Caps walks forward. That's going to be the flash taken away. Third stack on the Mounting Dread will not connect, so BeryL walking away, but does give up a lot for that play.
Yeah, and if you guys don't play Kindred, obviously what you want to do is set down your W and then use your E right after your Q, so you can try to proc that as quickly as possible, as now Wunder taking huge amounts of chunk damage, and you can try to catch people off by, like you said, getting that proc on the Mounting Dread and chunking them out, but flash comes out for BeryL, which is obviously very important for Sett, who's reliant on flash for positioning. Now a dive.
Are they going to go for it, though? Are they just going to play for pressure here? Obviously, the threat is real, but very, very difficult to dive a Sett at this point in the game. You've taken his flash, but as long as he has Haymaker up and available, is a very tanky champion, especially with the Aftershock, so they will pull away. But in the meantime, Jankos praying to the RNG gods, and the RNG gods answer as the Raptor Cap is respawning, and he's going to be right there in time to grab his second mark of the game before 5 minutes. That said, Perkz now has to run for his life to flash forward. Oh, he's getting run down. Ghost waiting on the volley. Instead, going to turn for Mikyx, trying to save BeryL's life. Does not want to trade it back. Perkz going in, though. Has the heal. Ghost going to go for one. Ghost now going to fish for two. Leona strong, but is she strong enough? Fighting in the creep wave as well. Hits the Zenith Blade just barely. That's the stun. That's the cleanse. And oh, doesn't it feel good to be an 80 carry in 2020? Bye-bye, Ghosts.
Ultimately the outplay as Mikyx gets some revenge. He's like, see, I can play Leona too. I'm going to say a little bit questionable in some of those hitboxes. That was like a 180 no-scope from Leona on the Zenith Blade.
Woo! Wide hitbox.
Yeah, apparently.
There it is.
Ashe needs to, I don't know, maybe slim down some.
And already we're starting to see an uptick in the performance from G2 here in the early game. 1,000 gold advantage coming across. Some of that's going to be in the mid lane, where of course Caps has a bit of a CS gap over ShowMaker, but also the 2 kills on the bottom side. But if you're DAMWON Gaming, I don't think you have to be scared, because most of that gold belongs to Leona. And while Leona certainly will have Swifties, will be a bit more of a terror on the map, and could be a terror in the top lane, it's not more damage items at this point.
No, but like you said, Swifties and impacting map state, and so far we've seen the handshake over Leona's, as it's not BeryL this time around. It is Mikyx setting up for a gank on Nuguri here. He goes in.
Go forward. Where's the riposte going to go?
No flash.
Waiting on the hard CC. That's going to be the Hextech ultimatum. Very well timed. He's going to get the lock of Nuguri, trying to go for the outplay, but there's just too many resources spent top lane clean from G2 Esports.
Yeah, no flash on the Leona is what I meant to say there. So really nice to set up the CC before Mikyx threw out the Zenith Blade to make sure that they chain CC on Nuguri and really punish him. You can see that Canyon is going to be the beneficiary here, picking up a lot of this CS, now hitting level 6, but this is obviously going to hurt your Fiora when you die, when you don't have teleport, when you lose, I don't know, a wave and a half of EXP and gold.
And of course, Fiora is the absolute side lane terror. We talk about 2 items on Fiora where she really just starts to become this unkillable 1v1 juggernaut. But when you look at relative utility, Camille is that, you know, the middle child of split pushers and team fighters. And she does provide a little bit more with the hook shot, with the Hextech ultimatum. She is a little bit more reliable, so to get Wunder ahead or to find Wunder small advantages here so we can potentially impact the map more is a big deal for G2 Esports, as they're holding on to this 1K gold lead. ShowMaker will use the stolen ult just to return to lane, fake teleport basically, so holds on to the actual global for when he needs it next.
And now we kind of go back to farming. I do want to talk about kind of what happened cross-map with all of the action topside. It was plate pickups for BeryL and Ghost there, so still something back in DAMWON's pocket, as well as the fact that we're starting to see, you know, why Perkz prioritize something like the Ezreal as opposed to the Misfortune, as it seems to be about unlocking Mikyx and having him team up with Jankos, and then leaving Perkz on an island. You know, in the first game it was the Lucian, this time around it's the Ezreal, and these champions that can 1v2 pretty safely and effectively.
Yeah, because when you look at Sett, obviously if you're ever close to him, he's a champion that feels like he does way too much. But when you're an Ezreal, you just never let him get close, and it's not really a problem. You have flash, you have the shift, you can make it out pretty easily. Pressure, though, on the top side is Wunder's going to be forced to catch this wave. Let's see if any vision gets laid down here by Nuguri, what he's going to actually do with his top side advantage.
We do need to talk about the difference in the jungle, because we are talking about kind of the differences of where lane advantages are, but level 7 to Jankos just now taking over into level 6. And obviously that helps with Canyon, you know, picking up some solo farm on the top side of the map, but also just the fact that Jankos has been ganking a lot more lanes and paying attention, whereas Canyon has gotten to hard farm there. And with this level advantage and Nuguri having the push priority on top side, it does mean a very early Herald, 8 minutes and 22 seconds on the clock, for for Canyon, I would expect that to go into Fiora's back pocket, but you could also look to put it into Sylas. So really good options and setup for Canyon, however he wants to use this.
Yeah, and when we look at the map, obviously 1,000 gold lead's going to stand out to you, 1 kills to 3, but it's important to remember that Graves was top to pick up all that farm. Graves just got a Herald, which is going to start to even that gold out a little bit, and a lot of the gold from G2 right now is in the pockets of Mikyx. He's making good on that, he's spreading that gold around, but G2 are not quite in the lead that the scoreboard might indicate.
I do want to point out the slow push that Wunder is creating here. Now, ShowMaker has picked up the blue, and Caps has disappeared in the fog of war, and with this slow push, you can see that Caps was cheating up towards the top side, and they were threatening to see if Nuguri would step forward, or even possibly threatening a dive as Mikyx goes in.
Has to be careful here, only level 5 from BeryL, really trying to capitalize on the level discrepancy here in the bottom lane. Level 6 ticks over, that play is really no longer possible as BeryL can just dunk you right back down under the tower, but looking for that small window of opportunity, just trading aggressive so Perkz can get priority here on the wave, but you can see Ghost fighting back. He doesn't want the freeze, he doesn't want anything else. He wants to make sure that G2 cannot back in this lane.
Yeah, trying to reset themselves, and actually with Canyon getting back onto the map, DWG could actually have tempo to take the Mountain Dragon as well as deny this Mark. You can see the immediate pings as they see that the Mark is on bot side scuttle. Ghost is going to go ahead and bounce this wave off of tower as BeryL ducks in for Deep Vision and denies Blast Cone. And yeah, it's going to be a denied Mark as well as a Dragon setup here if DWG want it.
Yeah. Jankos, you can tell, kind of thinking about going to contest for that, starting to walk down on the opposite side, but instead just settles for the Gromp. Giving up that Mark isn't going to feel too good, but it won't matter too much at this stage of the game. Obviously, 4 is the break point that you're looking for on the Kindred. An extra 75 range is a big deal, especially against so many short-range characters on the side of DAMWON Gaming. But Mikyx getting to the jungle, getting a little bit aggressive here. Potentially just going to be the free Mountain Drake. DWG Gaming don't look like they want to contest, but they do have a Herald that they can utilize mid lane if they want to.
I mean, they pushed mid priority, then DWG are now walking in, so Caps, you can see, is catching the mid wave. It does mean that the Dragon is still relatively low health, so DWG being behind the play if they wanted to contest it, but it's not crucial. Like you said, first Mountain Dragon doesn't really mean anything. Canyon continuing to hold the CS and experience lead over Jankos 78 to 68, level 8 to level 7. So DWG are not sweating right now, although it is a much better early game than we saw the first time.
Big arrow coming out. Graves is on the way in. Mikyx, that's definitely not what you wanted to do. The re-engage now coming up, but Canyon is there for the backup. They knew it was the only play left, and now they're trying to punish it. Dash forward. Mikyx running for his
Wall
life.
bounce.
1 arrow. Waiting on it. Where's the ult going to go? Already the damage has all been used, though, so Mikyx just barely able to escape on that one. Canyon immediately going to throw down the Herald here. This should be bot lane tower taken off the map, and DWG evening up the gold.
Yeah, and I expected that the Herald would either go mid or top lane, but instead, again, the dominance from Ghost and BeryL sees an opportunity to set up a potential gank bot side and then also shove down the first tower. Now, Caps is racing bot side here with Jankos, but you can see the danger pings. Come on, DWG knows what's up, and they do have TP about to come up on Nuguri as well as on ShowMaker.
I can't believe that they didn't get that tower. That's a big deal. That's a lot of gold. That is actually the amount that you would need to even the score out. Now Jankos moving to the mid lane. Gold card ticked over. The heal to run forward, trying to lock it in, but ShowMaker giving it the respect it deserves, backing away. Meanwhile, on top side, Wunder struggling a little bit in this individual 1v1. Tiamat means that Nuguri can keep the pressure up, but it does not mean that he can generate a man advantage here. BeryL ults coming out everywhere. We're taking our eyes on all sides of the map, but now stolen Kindred ult coming in. ShowMaker trying to buy as much time as he possibly can. Trying to get one more mark for Jankos. ShowMaker just barely making it out. In the meantime, Nuguri is going to go down. Wunder with just a sliver of life left.
And so clutch there from Mikyx to interrupt the TP from ShowMaker, who was trying to TP top and help out Nuguri. So it is a win across map for G2 in both mid and top. Very skirmish, very fast, very roller coaster, as DAMWON, again, are not getting kind of the same level of control that we saw in game number 1. This is a much better look if you're a G2 fan, as Mikyx now on the offensive.
Ulti. Zenith play for the follow-up. They want to find this kill as quickly as they can. A good smoke screen, though. Going to buy some time for Canyon. BeryL going to try to body block the face breaker back, but now BeryL's in the midst of everybody. It's going to be more than healthy enough to walk away from this one, but now Nuguri's on the way in. Oh, a few kills going into this pocket of the Fiora could be disaster, but G2 will walk away, and this is very much kind of the G2 that we expected, taking control early game and upping the pace with a lot of these aggressive moves.
Yeah, again, shout out to Mikyx right there to set that up. Beautifully done, obviously. It's pretty common setup, but the long-range Leona ultimate, because it has the longest range of any of your abilities, then into the Zenith Blade. You chain Zenith Blade immediately into the Daybreak from the Q, and you basically keep someone locked there for 20 years.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the top side, Wunder's got to be careful here. Not sure what the cooldown is on the hookshot wall dive. Can make it out to safety, trying to sidestep there. We'll get one, but the face breaker comes back. Dodges that as well. Sadly, it's too little, too late. And he's going to make it out to safety. We're not going to make that save.
DWG do now have access into this top lane if they do want to try to pressure for plates, but they recognize that G2 could pressure very heavy into the mid lane, so don't even take plates, just deny the wave into tower for Wunder. Again, dead, no teleport. And instead reset possibly to defend mid. This is what we were talking about earlier. It's the fact that ShowMaker's TP was interrupted by Mikyx catching him into the mid lane with Jankos. It then means that Nuguri is in a true 2v1 scenario.
Ugh.
Tries his absolute hardest, and that's unfortunate.
And wow, is dangerously close to doing so. Apparently this happened too. It's hard to catch every bit of action on the map, but...
Styled on.
Absolutely styled on. We're short one FBX and or IG emote before it was total BM, but well played by the side of Ghost. He obviously does not have the same personal baggage that the rest of DAMWON had here. Last year it was a different player in the bottom lane.
He's like, guys, I'm just here. Like, come on.
Like, please leave me out of your blood feud. I don't want anything to do with
It's Saturday. I'm here to win.
Like, please stop diving me. 1.5 item Ezreal. Well, right now, those plays are going to matter a lot. Right now we're looking at tower plays, obviously in favor of DAMWON, but the gold is essentially evened up. Mountain Drake really the only large advantage that G2 have held on to. Important to note that no towers have fallen, so there is some standing gold left over for G2 to pick up if they can eventually break bot, as now Mikyx gonna dash forward, gonna aim to go in on Ghost, but a clean sidestep to get things started. A stolen Leona ultimate to get kicked off again, and now Canyon's on the way in too. Mikyx's going to be in trouble. Big haymaker. Kindred ult to buy a bit more space. BeryL stepping forward. What's he gonna go for? Big ult, big dunk back down, but they stun in midair. They deny the ult, and here comes Wunder. Here comes the potential clapback for G2, but DAMWON Gaming staying strong as 3, trying to hold it forward. Quick dash out to deny the gold card from Canyon. The rest of G2 now pulling back.
Yeah, 4v5, because check out what's happening at the top lane. Nuguri takes the entire top lane tower, and G2 have to go deep for this to make it count.
Here we go. Red card, though. Maybe not exactly what they wanted. The AoE slow, though, going to be big. ShowMaker continuing to step forward. That's going to be the stun. That's going to be ShowMaker going down, and a mark going over to Jankos.
Watch out for Nuguri.
Oh, no.
He's on the flank.
Jankos stepping forward. Oh, they're playing very respectfully. Blue Trinket coming out as well. They're going to start Nuguri walking forward. But as all of G2 are forced to back off here, they're going to have to leave someone to clear the wave. They will do so. Perkz going to stick around just to make sure that the DAMWON cannot get a tower on the backside of that trade.
Yeah, but now DAMWON gets to kind of pick what they do want, and it's either the Ocean Drake or it is the Herald. I agree with them. I think the Herald is more important here, can help you break down that mid lane tower, and again, continue to open up a map when you're playing side lanes with your Fiora, and you do have access to global ultimates with Sylas, like the Destiny, excuse me, I should say semi-global. But it is a Dragon for Herald trade, and ultimately G2 kind of got the better of DAMWON in the mid lane skirmish, but I actually think it's pretty negligible when you take into account how much gold experience that Fiora got, as well as what DAMWON could get on the back half of this Herald play.
It's also an absolute mess. So many resources burned. I mean, the good news is the mark for Jankos, right? Like, that's kind of, feels to me like the silver lining for that play, but you're using your flash from caps. Bit all over the place, but you know, get a little bit of good news here as boom, big shutdown onto Perkz. 2-2-2 now has the Iceborne Gauntlet, and we talked about this being a relatively short-range comp, so Iceborne Gauntlet makes a lot of sense, and these fights are going to be difficult to play out for Canyon, for Nuguri, for BeryL, if they cannot find a good angle on these team fights.
Yeah, but now you have kind of the same play again as Wunder's trying to slip into the top side brush right there, spotted out very cleverly by a ward that I believe Ghost placed.
4 marks now for Kindred as well.
No, I think it was BeryL. I was like, does Ghost have yellow trinket? Had to check. No, blue trinket.
Nope. Proskeren.
Yeah.
This game, a little bit more, I feel like G2 showing what they're made of. But still very much more explosive than what we've seen from DAMWON for most of this tournament. DAMWON Gaming have been, I'm not going to say a chill team, but have been a little bit more calm, a little bit more collected across the tournament so far. But obviously when G2 start the fights, DAMWON kind of have to respond. And now we see the Herald use mid. They're looking to break this one down. Perkz laying down some poke damage just so DAMWON don't feel too comfortable to commit for any big plays. Charge going to take most of the health off the tower here, but not enough to finish the job. And G2 just instantly take that one.
Yeah, and it's DAMWON just using the fact that they have first movement on Nuguri. You can see that Wunder has caught the wave up to the top side on that. May even be providing a freeze as it feels like a fist fight in the mid lane now as Mikyx is really fishing. Needs to be careful. Ghost has arrow.
Big arrow flashback. It's going to hit Perkz instead. Definitely not the target that they wanted. Looking for the opportunity, but he's stunned as well. Now they're trying to lock up BeryL. Big haymaker to come out, and they take him down as well. BeryL a bit over aggressive and immediately punished. He had the highlight reel play in his head. He was going to dunk Perkz right back into his own team, but the CC is there to stop him.
That CC was so critical there, and this is what G2 were missing in the first game against DAMWON. They were not up to par with the mechanical ability. DAMWON were outplaying them. This time around, G2 are looking much cleaner, and it is coming down to a knife's edge of, you know, did the CC go off? It was a milliseconds, frankly, there. BeryL, like you said, saw his highlight.
Gold card, boop.
He was in there. He was going to get a massive face breaker. He could have then grabbed whoever he wanted, flipped them back in. Would have been stylish, but the gold card just slaps him right in the face.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why we just see TF so much, is the gold card is just such a strong ability. But hold that thought, because Jankos is going to be the one who's in trouble now. Forced to use the ultimate pretty early into this fight, but Canyon's zoned away. Jankos does do a lot of damage here with the Storm Razor. Debating on his options there. Stolen ult coming out. Ooh, the shutdown as well. Hit him with the hose. Caps holding on in the circle, holding on as long as he can. ShowMaker going into a big heal, and that's going to be it. Mikyx now caught in the midst of the entire team of DAMWON. 3 members strong here. Just looking to run this Leona down. Facebreaker won't connect, but ShowMaker sure will, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, and there's no response from G2. Look at Fiora. Fiora just pushed another wave. She's now going to smash this wave into the tower, get a couple of good shots there. You now have 3 kills as Mikyx basically went in to try to save his team, and it was just lemmings running off of the cliff there as G2 fed away 3 kills as well as big gold to ShowMaker. Very different performance from Sylas game 1 to game 2. ShowMaker 3-1-1 on this champion.
And it feels like that's a little bit of the difference in how both of these teams want to play the game. A lot more high-risk play coming here for G2, and quite frankly, caught out a little bit. Jankos obviously fine in the individual 1v1.
I feel like he didn't get his ult. No, he didn't. He made the mistake. So he cues out of his ult, then tries to walk back in it. Doesn't get the health from the Lamb's Respite, and then ShowMaker's like, easy, mate. Hits him with the fadeaway hose, grabs the Lamb's Respite, then uses it to go all in on Caps, and at this point, Mikyx, he's in the Zenith Blade. He's like, I've made a terrible mistake.
Yeah. Thought he could maybe save the day, but again, you cannot make small mistakes in this matchup. Costs pretty dearly. G2, not confident enough to stay for any damage on the tower. Just going to push in and wait to see what's going to happen next. 20 minutes into the game, so the Baron has spawned. Neither team too keen to get that one started off, but both with more than enough damage to do it if they want to.
So G2 don't have a single tower to their name, and without Herald, it's going to be pretty difficult to crack these towers, especially with the wave clear that Ghost is going to provide on this Ashe. So they need to make picks around this mid lane and then use a numbers advantage to kind of overwhelm and siege a tower, or they need to have 2 waves that are syncing, pushing together, and then like you see what they're doing where they shove a wave and then they kind of sprint to a side map to try to dissuade DAMWON with a potential dive. But DAMWON could actually just hold like this, and as long as they have proper vision on their flanks and don't, or are aware that G2 are trying to pick them off right now with Leona, can continue to kind of win across the map or funnel gold into the necessary hyper carries like the Fiora.
And it's interesting because right now as well, while we're seeing pretty even 4v4 here on the bottom side of the map, you've got top laners just in complete and total isolation. You have to feel the later we go, the more this is going to favor Nuguri in the 1v1. He's on his way to the Trinity Force.
Look at CS lead.
Yeah, he's already 40 CS up. I mean, this is looking really solid for him. Yeah, he can't pressure the tower too much, but in these trades, he's going to be fine. There's no real kill pressure. The full all-in is such a mess. Neither side really wants to go for it. Canyon, though, going to take a decent chunk to kick things off. G2, important to note, this will put them at sole point, and that is something that they can fight for. That is something that they can play for that will force Nuguri out of a side lane. So getting that Drake is crucial.
And this is kind of, like you're saying, the one silver lining that G2 still have is their clear win condition this game. Is now Caps going topside, but here comes ShowMaker.
TP respond. Ulti coming in, but they're just going to walk away. They don't have to commit anything else for that, and that's overall a good trade for G2.
Yep. Getting the ultimate off of ShowMaker, like you said, trading for Destiny, you're going to take that any day of the week, but the towers still remain here. So G2 still looking for a pick, still looking for kind of a big team fight, while DAMWON will be patient. They've now swapped Nuguri down towards the bot side of the map, so we can start threatening the inner bot side tower while Baron is in place and Dragon is down.
Makes a lot of sense. And checking in on itemization as well, it was the Iceborne Gauntlet, it's fully stacked Muramana now, as well as the Quicksilver Sash. So Perkz is going to be nigh untouchable in a lot of these fights, unless they can just absolutely one-tap him. He has to completely mince position, really, to die in these fights or play way too aggressive. So he's in a solid spot. Probably will not have the same damage output as an Ashe in a sustained team fight right now. Might change once he gets third item. We'll see if it's going to be the Blade of the Rune King or the Death Stance. But Nuguri now getting aggressive onto Caps. Stun's going to come out, dash forward, as well as the riposte, but the TP now burned here from
DAMWON should all run top.
Riposte is down, though. They can go for the stun. Hookshot wall dive. They're just kind of baiting here. Meanwhile, ShowMaker can push in and can trade or try to trade 1-for-1 on the towers. It's a split map play. Wunder going to try to shred this one down. Precision Protocol should make this pretty quick. But Cap showing that he's walking away means Nuguri can walk right back into this lane.
Tower still hasn't fallen yet for DAMWON, but they're denying so much wave, and it should eventually fall. It's probably very low health as Nuguri flashes.
Oh, the stolen ultimate coming in as well. Cap's though back on the way in, wants to use it. Wunder now has to run for the hills, has to be careful. Nuguri now stepping in. This Fiora is so incredibly strong. 2 items, dash through, no riposte available, and that means he's going to be in trouble. Shut down onto Nuguri, massive for G2. What can DAMWON do on the top side of the map?
Nuguri just steps forward as G2 stay around, and like you said, what can DAMWON get on the top side of the map? The top tower does fall. That mid tower is a stiff breeze from being knocked over. So still, in terms of gold, G2 have a slight edge, but there's a lot of freestanding gold available for DAMWON to take that right back.
And we've yet to really see a full-on 5v5. We've seen a lot of 3v3 skirmishes, and we've seen a lot of these 2v1 side lane plays, but neither team seems too keen to fight yet. That might change in 2 minutes and 45 seconds when the next Infernal spawns.
I do want to talk about the fact that you don't have TP right now on your Camille, where you do have it in your Fiora. Now, it would be difficult to execute, but there is a position here where Nuguri can run down bot lane, or ShowMaker if he wants to have the Destiny, and you could try to play cross-map by stretching out Camille, since Twisted Fate will have to match you there and try to like abuse in lane assignments while Camille is waiting for that TP. But because Infernal Drake and an Infernal Soul is coming up in 2 minutes, G2 might not be punished for it as heavily, since they'll want to be playing bot side anyway.
It's important to note as well that through all of this, Cap's managed to hold on to his TP2, so there is a decent global advantage. Of course, Nuguri does have teleport, but the Fiora teleport significantly less menacing, as she packs no innate CC, even if she is an absolute monster to deal with in small skirmishes. Perkz, though, continuing to push in. G2 still not able to break this tier 1 tower, means it's very hard for them to push their vision any further forward.
But it's not really about that for G2 right now. They just need to make sure that because Perkz has that QSS, you were talking about how he's basically unkillable, that there's no like snap threat. You know, there's no go snap grabs Perkz with an Ashe arrow into multiple pieces of CC because he does have the QSS to deny or contest G2 on this wave. Now, DAMWON are trying.
Stolen Leona ultimate. Are they going to follow up with any more CC? Kind of just testing the waters, it looks like. Fishing for an opportunity, not wanting to overcommit here. And this is the stiff breeze you were talking about. One auto should kill the tower. Heck, minions might even do it. One more. Boom. There it goes. Ghost's going to grab it.
But that tower doesn't necessarily really mean anything to G2 because, again, the thing is the tower is there because it helps you contest on mid priority, which helps you, gives you access into the river. But because of Perkz' itemization and how slippery he is as an Ezreal, he can still do that relatively well. Unless he doesn't have something like Flash, then it gets a little bit more dangerous. And you can see Perkz stepping super forward as here comes Caps.
Very aggressive. If they kill Canyon, this is pretty massive, but Ghost has been isolated off to the side. Caps does not have the sustained damage to take this fight, but the Flash taking him to safety. The team play there from G2 saves the day. The Hextech ultimatum stolen away. Caps now stepping forward. ShowMaker going to be in trouble. Tries to go back in. Is untouchable for now, but the Hextech ultimatum not enough to save his life. As now BeryL has been caught out too. G2 on the chase, trying to keep BeryL out of this one. What are they actually going to get off the back of this, though? For now, it is just kills. Ulti in the mid lane.
Ghost is trying to eat the wave. Here comes Wunder.
Oh, Nuguri locked up, taken down big for G2. This fight around the enemy blue buff has bought them everything that they need to start up this Baron.
And this is the thing, again, that mid lane tower didn't mean anything for G2. They could always still contest on that wave. DAMWON didn't think that they would do it, and G2 called their bluff. They spent multiple ultimates, multiple pieces of CC, and snag DAMWON right in front of the Baron. This is a huge swing for them.
Wunder going to go forward, is going to get dunked right back down, but is pretty tanky at this stage of the game. Ghost's going to try to finish the job, though, because this is massive. They've taken the Baron, they can turn right to Soul. This is everything for G2. The TP now coming in, but it might be too little too late. He can't cancel that one. ShowMaker on the way in. He takes the Leona ult. There's a potential here for a massive turn, but it looks like it might not matter because the Zenith Blade connects. Caps is on the way in. He tries to get it. ShowMaker trying to turn it right back around. That's the shutdown onto Caps, but it isn't enough. No, G2 stands strong. They take down ShowMaker, and they set their eyes on the Infernal and Canyon. Dashes in, dashes out, gets down the control ward, but it's going to take a miracle steal and a flank from Nuguri to turn this one back.
Here comes Nuguri. Canyon does have Flash as well as Smite available.
Infernal Soul will go down. Canyon has gone down. Nuguri has to run for the hills. He has one riposte and has to block everything from G2 if he wants to survive this one. Blast cones there. He should be able to make it out to safety. Hook shot, wall dive to take him out. Dash to the side. They're now chasing him down, but that's going to do it. That's going to be it. Perkz now dominating. Massive lead for G2 Esports.
Infernal Soul, Baron buff, Multiple shutdowns now picked up for G2. You said it. This is massive for them. And it starts with this pick onto the mid lane. The control ward was not going to save Canyon. The Destiny comes in. The smooth flash over the wall into the Lamb's Respite. Even if he didn't flash, maybe because of Jankos' placement, it still might have caught him there, but flashes for good measure anyway. And just such critical and important picks. And this is what G2 fans want to see from this team. High agency on a lot of their members. The ability to play individually and then have that incredible synergy, and the fact that all of these champions have forms of CC, have forms of escape, get to unlock these superstars to do what they want. Now, that said, when I called game 1 over, when DAMWON just absolutely smashed G2, I still think that there's opportunity here that DAMWON have. It's not as a foregone conclusion as game was for DAMWON as it is for DAMWON versus G2 in this matchup.
Absolutely still some room to outplay. They're not as catastrophically behind. Of course, it is about surviving this Baron. And the Red Bull Baron power play, a minute left, already 4,000 gold for G2. They didn't take a lot of towers earlier on in the game, but they can certainly take a lot of them now. That's going to be tier 2 in the bot lane taken out. Tier 1 mid next to fall. Caps and Wunder press forward. DAMWON backing off, knowing that they just have to concede these objectives, that they can't afford to pick a fight around this.
Like you said, it's about surviving. 2 waves crashing for G2 in mid and bot. Nuguri doesn't have TP, so he's actually just going to try to trade probably inhib for inhib. So DAMWON just actually want to try to see if G2 will go away after this one, which you do see the back coming in for Wunder. He does have TP. Or if Mikyx will turn and G2 will step.
Yeah, Perkz just going to shift back over the wall. Caps going forward with the gold card. Big damage onto BeryL. Get a lot of stats for free earlier on in the game, but Sett does get weaker as we go forward if he doesn't actually have any form of gold income.
I mean, forget BeryL right now. Did you see what that Ezreal ultimate just did to Canyon?
Yeah, it's pretty devastating.
It half-healthed him.
Perkz is a strong boy. Caps, though, is going to need a body block here. ShowMaker trying to play around this one. Caps caught out 4 now, but who's caught who now? As the TPs are coming in, that's going to be the red card, just trying to slow any kind of advance here. The pullback, big from BeryL. Dunk back down, trying to make it out. That's a haymaker. It's a decent amount of damage, but it's not nearly enough. They're now getting collapsed on. Fiora still just farming in the top lane, and Perkz flashing forward, will not connect. Nice bit of emote usage there on the backside, but G2 take that fight, and it looks like they're going to take their second inhibitor.
Yeah, and there's no TP for Nuguri. So what he did is he tried to burn Wunder down as much as he could, actually just standing on top of the Camille and slapping him while the teleport was coming through. But again, G2 pushing, have now 2 inhibs, and actually a lot of restraint coming in. Didn't have vision because Nuguri was no longer on a wave, so they have to assume that the reset has come in, and they go ahead and back away.
G2, though, waiting in the darkness, now on the retreat. ShowMaker with the stolen Leona ultimate again. Very, very powerful, 0.8 AP ratio. Do a lot of work here, but Nuguri has to now run for the hills. They're just looking for a pick, and they could look to end it here as soon as they kill Nuguri. That's exactly what they want, G2. Are you going to bet it all on the 5v4? They've got a wave to back them up. The hook shot, not going to follow up with the wall dive. DAMWON Gaming not going to give anything up that they don't have to. Nuguri overstepping this game, 0-6-0. Team play Nuguri has been looking solid so far this tournament, but complete solo lane isolation Nuguri, while he's still doing fine in the 1v1. No one's 1v1ing him. They're dogpiling him at every chance. He doesn't even get to play League of Legends anymore.
Well, I think it's taking advantage over the mentality of, Nuguri thought that they had gone. He sees that Elder is going to be spawning in like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. He saw that G2 left the base, and so the assumption is they're resetting and they're going to prepare for Elder, and I need to push this out to get in a position where we can have one last fight around the Elder, and that's probably going to be the last hurrah that DAMWON will have available to them. But instead, it's G2 just sitting in a bush looking at him like, you want that far.
That cannon sure does look juicy. Oh, that's a super minion? How much gold? 90 gold?
I mean,
Ooh.
Frankly, at this point, Fiora is a super minion.
That's the struggle. And again, if she's alone in a 1v1 against the Camille, she's not too bad. Obviously, she's in an item deficit now, and there's healing reduction. So yeah, she's probably not winning that one anymore either. But there was for so long, it felt like Nuguri, despite being down in kills, it wasn't the end of the world. Now, though, it really does feel like a death sentence, because Fiora, all she does for your team is damage. She provides no utility, and when you're behind in items, your damage is just strictly worse.
She is looking for the deep flank on Wunder here.
Big arrow. Oh! That was the biggest brain arrow we've seen all tournament. My God, Ghost! Shut down onto Wunder, and that is certainly a way to put hope back in to the side of DAMWON Gaming.
That guy just 3,000 IQ'd him.
My God, Giga Brain.
Get the wall jump now.
You've heard of 5-head, welcome to 6-head, baby. Ghosts on another level.
It's just another Saturday.
Oh my God.
Okay, Elder is spawning in 44 seconds. obviously G2 don't need it to win. It would be nice. And they've got so much vision control. They're doing the classic, they just want DAMWON to face check into so many of their pieces of CC.
Yeah.
Ooh, that blue trinket ward.
Gold card. Who's face checking who though? Oh, big Ezreal damage. ShowMaker all alone means he takes the full brunt of that assault, and now they're trying for the follow-up. Jankos leaping forward, and that's going to be it. ShowMaker just in the midst of the meat grinder. G2 now pressing forward. Game one, all about DAMWON, all about early dominance. Here, G2 keep it scrappy, keep it fresh, turn it all around on a single play around the Baron buff, and now they are just walking their way into victory here as they tear DAMWON to pieces.
Much better look from G2 this time around. DAMWON was still getting a couple of scrappy fights in there, but just not the same dominant performance that we saw from Nuguri. 0-6-1. Obviously, that Fiora is probably not going to come out again, as we've got a series, Jankos.
We absolutely do. Gold card going into G2 looking to return with some BM of their own. They don't have any fancy emotes, but they are more than happy to go for a fancy tower dive. Land's respite will not give you a respite from the fountain laser. G2 going to close this one out with confidence. Game one was all about DAMWON gaming. Game two, much more of a back and forth. But at the end of the day, G2 reigns supreme and tie it up 1-1.
But this is what's most important. G2 beat DAMWON from red side. You now get side selection for losing team after this game. So DAMWON will have side selection. They could run it back onto blue side, the side that has been so dominant for them individually and so dominant throughout this tournament. But that's massive for G2 to prove that they could beat them from red side.
It's huge. And also now we've proven from G2, one of the immortal questions in a best of 5 is how does this team adapt? Can this team adapt? Are they, a one-trick pony? Do they only have one thing up their sleeve? We obviously know that G2 isn't that team, so pretty easy to answer that question, but Game 2 proves it. Now we get to see how much more DAMWON Gaming can bring to the table. How diverse is their playstyle? How diverse are their champion pools and their skill sets? And while we wait for Game 2, listen to Bring Home the Glory on Spotify League of Legends official playlist during the Spotify song break.
What you gonna do now? It's your reflection looking back to pull you down. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head and then you'll fly, fly, Phoenix fly. It's time for a new empire. Go bury your demons, then tear down the ceiling. Phoenix fly. And now you're playing with matches. Out of the ashes, underneath you. A million voices in the crowd, they're screaming. Stop now. We'll let them swallow the pride. Turning the tide to true believers. Got them in the palm of your hand. You're playing God now. What you gonna do now? It's your reflection looking back to pull you down. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head and then you'll fly, fly, Phoenix fly. It's time for a new empire. Go bury your demons, then tear
Welcome back, everyone, to the State Farm Analyst Zone, where G2 managed to bounce back, and we're now 1-1 in today's semifinal. It looks like we got 2 convincing games from either side so far, so let's take stock of what we have seen. The first thing my analysts wanted to highlight as the music keeps going, because it's like a epic setup for this replay. You were impressed by Mikyx's moves here.
Yeah, I think that what we wanted to see was a shift in the support priority, and particularly we wanted to see Mikyx playing better than he did in game 1. Getting his hands on the Leona, I think that he showcased what he was capable of. Roaming around the map a lot more, saving this 2 versus 2 play that almost ended in disaster, and ultimately having a much better performance relative to game 1.
I like the steal away of Leona. I like that adaptation. It's BeryL's favorite champion. Mikyx is good at it, and in the current meta, it's a very strong blind pick. There's no trash gameplay coming out of both supports, and even that matchup is something that is playable for the Leona. Look at that cancellation. That sucks for the top lane.
I think that what we saw a lot of tied in with this was a lot of skirmishing and roaming, just like we saw from game 1. G2 wanted to try and force a lot of fights around the map, and it's a very common tactic when you're running Twisted Fate and Camille, right? This isn't anything new. We've even seen DAMWON run a very similar comp themselves. But this time it was G2 consistently coming out ahead in the skirmishes. There was a point in time where they were even up 9 kills to 3 because of the number of picks and punishes they were finding all across the board.
And I don't want to take anything away from BeryL respectively in game 1 and Mikyx respectively in game 2, but we do see that aside from who is playing it, the Leona just looks very, very oppressive because of the way these games are playing out.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get to see it being picked earlier and earlier. Leona also is pretty decent into Pantheon, something both of these supports like to play. I wouldn't even be surprised if it gets banned even. I think Mikyx is doing well, BeryL's doing well too, and this is the type of game we all wanted to see.
I mean, at the beginning we talked about what the supports could be doing in this Festify.
Yeah, they certainly did. And I think that what is interesting, and you know, we're singing the praises of G2 right now, right? And I think that when we look at how things have played out in game 1, it was just G2 made early mistakes, DAMWON got a lead, immediately they punished off the back of it. And something Yamada said at the beginning of the day, DAMWON, when they have a lead, they're kind of chilling. You know, like they have such great understanding of the game that they just know how to move around the map and they are able to accelerate the game. However, in this situation, they're actually put on the back foot and they have to then be proactive. And this is where we actually saw some more great stuff from DAMWON when they get a turnaround playing the bot side of the map.
Yeah, you remove the nameplates and you would think this is Caps doing these action moves. This is what I really, really wanted to hammer home, because in most cases what people associate with LCK teams is just a patient waiting to die kind of play against the G2 that is ahead. But this is proactivity, as BeryL said, and this is something that gave them a lot of breathing room in this game where they're facing a third dragon coming in, and in general we're in a very, very tough spot.
And also it kind of it also conveys effectively kind of the weight of when you're up versus a DAMWON. I think even as a G2, you've not run into a situation yet at the World Championship where you're up versus someone that even if you're far ahead, you have that inkling of, because of the individual class, they could turn it around. And that is why it was also important for G2 to keep going. So let's take a look at G2's Mercedes drive to victory, the fight before Baron, which I think was as much essential as it was well played from G2.
I think this play was obviously the nail in the coffin, but I love the fact that Jankos just dived in the brush and found a pick. That all started off by catching Canyon off guard, and just a lot of small individual outplays coming from the side of G2, where keep your eyes on Perkz here, completely chunking out Ghost and removing him from the fight. And what they found was exactly what they found versus Gen G. It wasn't a straight up 5v5 front-to-back team fight. It was 4 versus 1, 4 versus 2, 3 versus 1, and they were just getting like what looked like a huge team fight, actually just multiple punishes and picks, which they were able to then snowball off the back of.
And then it went over to the Drake after that, and it was the end of the game in terms of G2. Now, let's look at a couple of matchups in depth, starting with the jungle. In the pre-show, we said Canyon is playing absolutely out of his mind, and we're going to have to see what exactly Jankos can show us. And right now, it doesn't seem to be the biggest issue for G2 in the second game, at least.
I think the Kindred choice, I believe this is the first time we saw Jankos play it. I might be wrong, I don't have that stat in my mind, but this is the first time he shows up with it. I think G2 as a whole has adapted to this playstyle more and more. On the other hand, I want to also highlight for Canyon, usually with Graves in the situations, like DAMWON have picked Graves in the past, usually the draft is towards that champion. If you're playing Graves and your top laner is Fiora and your mid laner is Sylas, these are champions that require a lot of attention. We've had them in solo queue. Players that play these champions are cry babies for a reason. They want attention, they want resources. That's what Graves wants. So it's kind of an awkward position to be in for Canyon, but Jankos punished with the Kindred, got ahead and did super well.
You're correct. His first Kindred at Worlds 2020 for Jankos. Yes. That's just goes to show how you can see things coming out in a best of 5 that you wouldn't necessarily expect or have seen before. So let's pull up the draft once more. DAMWON has chosen red side for game 3. Right. As a reminder, G2 first team to beat DAMWON on the blue side in 24 games. That winning streak is now over, and DAMWON says we'll try it again on the red side. What do you want to see, BeryL?
So, well, I think what this suggests is counter pick is very important, obviously. But what was interesting is G2 used their counter pick for AD carry rather than everything else. They blind picked the Twisted Fate, which DAMWON got the counter of. They also blind picked the Camille, again, counter of. And so I'm curious as to G2 are clearly happy to blind pick a lot of their champions and then hope for a favorable matchup. I'm curious as to where DAMWON are actually looking to get their counter, whether it will be in the bot lane once again, or if it's for the solo laners.
I think it's less about the counters, more so about just the fact that there's a big shared champion pool when it comes to both teams. The Camille, the Twisted Fates, when you can snag 2 of those away, all of a sudden, you know, you take a lot away from the enemy and you support your own identity and your own idea in the game.
Let's see what happens, and what is fun for all the viewers at home, we get minimum of 4 games today, and that's always something to be happy about. A spot in the final is on the line as DAMWON and G2 are tied at 1-1 going into game 3. Oof. Oof.
Promised tomorrow.
Playtime's over. They're mine now. Fear the assassin with no master.
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. In the quarterfinal bout between Top Esports and Fnatic, Hylissang used a perfect hide-on bush to get the flank on JackeyLove.
Around the enemy team, he's looking for the massive flank against JackeyLove. Selfmade is not with the team, but he's still going.
369's gone in, he's managed to find no JackeyLove. JackeyLove is deleted before anything can happen. Top Esports watch their bot laner get eliminated. Fnatic in a 5-on-4 for 40 seconds. They're barreling down mid lane.
Yeah,